Do you like tactics? Do you like war? Then why don't you join the army, you flower-picking pansy? Anyway, this is Synoptic, and I'm doing a commentary for Empire Total War. In this fight, I'm playing as France, and my opponent is playing as Prussia. Essentially what happens in this fight is at the start we both rush this hill here. I never rushed this hill, but my opponent was, so I took it first. He noticed this immediately though, and he begins his right flank maneuvers over here. But I pushed up my tirailleur and shot at them. That's a pretty disincentive for him to attack, so he's already pulling that flanking unit back. But on this side he has 3 lifeguard units and some heavy cavalry. 4 units to be exact. So he's going to be pretty big on the flank. Noticing his flank, I'm going to attack his immobile one. Now here's a fatal flaw. He has militia on his left flank. I do not advise this ever. You should never put such a useless unit protecting such a vital part of your army. The flank opens up rear attacks and further flanking attacks. So these militia rout very easily. I'm going to take full advantage over that. I've already started shooting at them, and straight away I'm going to charge them with my garde du corps. So militia versus horses, I mean militia versus anything. Have a nice flight. Anyway, he continues his flanking anyway. He pushes further outside of my tirailleur range with these lifeguards. Very, very good units, these guys. He turned the tide of any fight. But I'm also going to attack his left side. So there's a possibility that he might not even have recognized this happening. But it was very quick though. When I make my strikes, it was with infantry and cavalry. So I have cavalry in his rear, and I got my infantry in the front. So I got my 2 cavalry here now. They're coming in very soon. He's gonna make squares. You can see his Prussian Jägers already routing from the immense fire from 2 of my line infantry units. So I'm causing squares, and I'm gonna pull these units out. So he's got 2 squares now. That's gonna give me some heavy firepower here. He begins his flanking maneuver. So in retaliation, I'm just going to pull this unit temporarily back. So I'm collapsing left, pushing right. And he's pushing right, but holding left. So that's a fatal flaw there. He's reinforcing this area with 2 of his heavy cavalry. But it doesn't really matter at this point. I've already dealt enough damage. I don't think there's any incentive for him to attack my cavalry. They're virtually the same. Noticing the heavy losses on his left side, he falls back his entire army, which is quite a good move as he was beginning to engage in his right flank maneuver, although I had already moved my main body to the point where my left was now my midsection, much more powerful than his flank. So off he goes. This is the first of maybe 2 or 3 retreats by him. So as he tries to reallocate his army, I've got multiple distractions here. I've got my cavalry in his rear just running around. Too fast for his units though. But when I'm making that distraction, I'm going to start taking pot shots at his reallocating army. So he's got his lifeguards here. I really want to destroy some of these before they even engage. So I'm moving up my tirailleur, as you can see, far in front of my lines. So all his cavalry is chasing my cavalry. So nothing's going to hit me. Oh, he's got 2 here, but I don't think he notices. He's too busy chasing that missile unit I have, a carabiner. So as they're just walking along, they're all getting shot. A major flaw in retreating is that you need some cover while you do it. I already eliminated 1 of his Prussian Jägers, so I have 4 tirailleur versus 2 of his Prussian Jägers, which I already depleted quite a fair bit. So as he runs away, as you saw just a couple seconds ago, I already took shots at him. And it's something I'm not going to let up doing. As he allocates his men, I have units in the woods here, and he gets way too close, and luckily for me, they're his lifeguards, so I send my lancers here. Boosh! So, I don't think he even saw this. Initially, anyway. He would have seen it by now. And my lancers are so wussy, they just start routing even though they've killed about 50 men. Anyway, I'm going to send them back. One thing you got to do after a charge like this, a shock tactic, you got to support it. Something I learnt in the long run. So I'm sending all my line infantry over. I'm going to start taking shots at everything he sends in this general area. So notice his heavy cavalry in the background. So he's even trying to reinforce this area with his Jaegers, to which I'm still shooting with my tirailleur. So I'm pushing those units back, my lancers back. under the cover of my line infantry. As you can see, he's going to fall back again here. But I have another lancer in the woods. I bring that one out as well. So I'm going to hold up these guys even further. And that's going to frustrate him so much. If this happened to me, I'd get so angry. I mean, 2 units popping out of the woods. Not only this, but I'm going to start sending units to the rear. So we're sending all his cavalry on this side over. Frustration must be high at this point. And I think at this point he's actually going to charge me. He gets quite sick of what I'm doing. So yeah, he's got his guard to corps here. Square time. But then he still pulls out. As that was happening, I tried to take some pot shots at his immobile cavalry on my right. I don't actually get to do that. But noticing he starts charging them, I'm just going to form up my own trap. See with the green dots on the right side there? That's my cavalry. Over here I'm forming up a wall of fire here with my line infantry. I'm leaving my Tiroler there. I don't really care what happens to them at this point. I don't need my long range. So I'm falling these guys back as well. He tries to charge both Tiroler units. So one was separated and one was one massive force. So he's going to run at them. Notice I've already pulled them back. So he's going to get all the fire here. All his guard to corps on that side getting shot. And these guard to corps are getting shot by my collapsed units here. And he's going to charge into this flank. Notice the box here. So there's not going to be much left of these guys. And he's also going to try and mount his own assault here. Assault of his own. But I've already depleted these lifeguards quite heavily. So it's only really 2 line infantry versus 3 lifeguard units. But I've got maneuver on my side. Notice my cavalry movement. He's going to try and take the woods and maybe swing around. But before he even mounts his attack, I'm going to form my own. So a major part of this fight is taking the initiative. So I've got my lancers here. I think these guys are going to rout. They have very poor morale, and then there's not much of them left. 23 out of 60. Here it's much different. I got my guard to corps almost full size, charging right into these guys. So I'm at that charge. Yeah, I'm losing that lancer. He's going to form a square anyway, which will give me the firepower I need. I'm going to send those guard to corps right back out. And at this point I'm going to start engaging all his initial units. He has some units in the rears possibly to attack, protect him from cavalry, such as this one here. I also lost my carabiner. I just charged it right into his line. Pretty much a delay. I don't want him sending any more units to the initial fight right now. As you can see, he's just trying to defend his area over here, which I've already assaulted. So at this point he's brought in his guard to corps from the woods. And he's going to try and get some flanking fire from that lifeguard unit on his right. So he's going to try and go right in for the kill here with his lifeguards, but I'm going to go for a rear charge here with the same guard to corps I used earlier. And I'm going to go for another rear charge on the flanking lifeguard over here. And the square I set up with my infantry is going to destroy those guard to corps. The initial charges I mounted caused boxes, as you can see there. And then I just used the same cavalry to run back out and then hammer and anvil the units he sent. He sent his lifeguards from melee. Good move, but you need protection, to which he had none. And noticing all this shellacking, he's going to retreat again. Looks like Prussia can't take much more pressure, because of all the pressure I'm mounting on Prussia is making all this pressure unsurmountable, so Prussia can't merely take the pressure anymore. What? 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 So it's practically the same story as before. I still have my long range superiority, except this time I'm going to engage in a basic pincer movement to kill what's left. For those who don't know what a pincer is, it's a double flanking maneuver. It's very risky in this game. You can have multiple counterattacks on both sides if you're not careful, but at this point a pincer is pretty safe. So hitting both flanks avoids any frontal assault, which is quite damaging in Empire Total War. It also gives you the bonus of flanking fire and having the effects of flanks exposed and all that other stuff for the opposing side. So there goes all his men. Thanks for watching.